Caleb Williams finally declares for the NFL draft. The Rams lose a key defensive coach to USC. And the Chargers, well, they finally got a chance to speak with their man crush. Good morning. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelenos Morning Report. And it is also January 16th, 2024. Lovely day. Plan on spending it with my lovely wife. But before said lovely day is spent with said lovely wife, what do you say we talk some LA sports? If you'd like being in the know about LA, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It'll let you know we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And by all means, comment. Totally look forward to hearing from you. Now, before we go through the news and notes, a look at the scoreboard. LeBron James scores 25 points. And the Lakers keep a-crawling back towards 500 after a 112-105 victory over Oklahoma City. That game marked the midway point of the season. So better off than they were at this point last year. Still a little disappointing though, wouldn't you say? Meanwhile, Trevor Moore scored twice. All hail the LA Kings for breaking their 8-game losing streak with a 5-2 victory over Carolina. Meanwhile, today, the Kings are at Dallas at 5 o'clock. Oklahoma City is at the Clippers at 7. Center Ivica Zubac will not play tonight. It's going to mark the second consecutive game that he's missed with a strained calf. But what do you say we get to the news? Caleb Williams has finally stopped hitting the snooze button and declared for the NFL draft literally on the last day that he was eligible to do so. And if we're going to be honest with ourselves, and we should be honest with ourselves, it is like the latest unnecessary twist, a completely pointless point of drama that has to do with an undeniably brilliant athlete. We didn't need to go through this. He didn't need to put the NFL through this. But yet he keeps doing these sort of things. For example, Williams wins the Heisman Trophy 2 years ago, right? 2 seasons ago. But I think literally every last one of us would argue or would agree that he didn't evolve even further last year as we were all expecting him to. You could even make the argument that he started to regress as the season goes on. Now, maybe that's his point. Maybe that's on him. Maybe. But it could also be possibly the fault of a lesser offensive line than he had 2 years ago. Maybe it was the fault that he had the pressure of matching that terrible Alex Grinch defense point for point. So all of those things are possibilities. And I bring those things up because after he won the Heisman 2 seasons ago, he was already being forecast as the number 1 overall pick for the upcoming draft. But to say that last year did not hurt his cause, I don't think that's accurate at all. I'm not necessarily sure he is the number 1 overall pick. And there's a reason for it. Look, ESPN interviewed 6 scouts, and they all unanimously agreed Caleb Williams was the best player to take. But in addition to his poor season, there have been unnecessary points of drama, unnecessary rumors about Caleb Williams. For example, that he is constantly trying to parlay his college status into these wild perks, like trying to force the Chicago Bears into either trading the number 1 overall pick because he doesn't want to play there, or possibly saying, okay, take me, but only if you send me in a trade immediately somewhere else. Literally like what Eli Manning did with the Chargers years ago. If you're the Chicago Bears, do you still take Caleb Williams number 1 if that story is in fact true? Or do you take him and try to force him to play for Chicago? Do you see what I'm saying here? Pointless drama. There were also stories that he was actually seeking a slice of team ownership from whatever team he wound up playing for. There have been those stories. There have been stories that he wanted to bring Lincoln Riley to the NFL with him. Do you remember those stories? Now, I'm not saying any of those stories are true. I'm not, because I don't have proof. But what I do know is that the more of these stories come about, NFL people talk with each other about these sort of things all the time. Do you really think Caleb Williams is excited about being a Chicago Bear? Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. We don't know. But it just indicates that despite his brilliance on the field, maybe he's not the sure thing, right? If you are a USC football fan, as I am, you revere the memories of a player that some analysts quickly dubbed to be the next Patrick Mahomes. But at the same time, USC's locker room, their quarterback room, isn't exactly trash without him. They're good. They're in good hands with Miller Moss and transfers coming in. Now, Williams becomes the second Trojan underclassman to choose pro ball over the transfer portal. The other one is running back Marshawn Lloyd, who off the top of my head could be a sleeper pick. He's not afraid to block, for one, and he's about as effective as a receiver as he is a running back. He could be a very useful pro. Meanwhile, two former Trojans wide receivers have landed elsewhere via the transfer portal. Dorian Singer is headed to Utah. Singer was an all Pac-12 selection when he played for Arizona 2 years ago. They expected big things from him when he came to USC, but that did not materialize. Also, Mario Williams settled on a new school. He's going to Tulane. Yeah, the school that sank USC in the 2023 Cotton Bowl. Now, Williams had a down year for the Trojans last year. 29 receptions, just 2 touchdowns. Finally, the Trojans completed their coaching staff by adding Eric Henderson as co-defensive coordinator, defensive line coach, and run game coordinator. A lot of hats. Henderson actually comes to USC after coaching for the Rams, who were eliminated from the NFL playoffs on Sunday. Pro Football Focus, or PFF, ranks the Rams as the 8th best defense against the run. Now keep in mind, the Trojans also want a rapid turnaround. Henderson taught rookies Kobe Turner and Byron Young how to be extremely effective with the Rams in their rookie years. So if they're looking for a quick turnaround, this could be the guy on the Trojans defensive line. He had been with the Rams since 2019, coached a little with the Chargers before that. Now, there was a scribe who wrote that Henderson was a coach that the Rams couldn't afford to lose. I disagree. Now, it's not that Henderson is overrated. I'm not going there at all. It's that Sean McVay has been known for his coaching tree. A couple of years ago, for example, people thought Brandon Staley was irreplaceable. And what happened? Exactly. McVay hires Raheem Morris, who, by the way, has at least 4 head coaching interviews lined up because McVay has a solid eye for coaching talent. Side note, by the way, the hiring of Henderson completes the USC coaching staff. Sean Nua is the only lone holdover from Alex Grinch's era of profound woe. Now, I also want to mention something over at UCLA. We talked about players who were leaving to go to the NFL draft. Running back Carson Steele, as previously reported, declared himself eligible for the NFL draft out of UCLA. Honestly, I'm not sure that's the best idea in the sense that he made a much bigger impact when he was playing over at Ball State. But what your team would get if they draft Steele is a guy who's difficult to bring down one-on-one. He just allegedly lacks the elite speed that you would want for those home run type plays. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports that Tyler Higbee did in fact rupture his anterior cruciate ligaments after an ugly knee-first hit from a Lions player on Sunday's Rams game. A reporter for The Athletic, by the way, noted that the Detroit player, safety Kirby Joseph, has now blasted out 2 knees on 2 opponents for literally diving knee first into the area. It was Higbee and Minnesota tight end TJ Hawkinson. Now, Detroit is trying to spin this, trying to claim that, oh, well, how do you expect him to tackle? You look at those videos, I don't buy that argument for one moment. And I don't have a problem with the Detroit Lions, their coaching staff, etc. I have a problem with people who dive headfirst into opponents' knees. You're asking to ruin careers that way. Just ask Jim Everett about the late Muddy Waters over at Philadelphia. Now, as a result of Sunday's elimination in Detroit, we know the Rams are going to pick 19th in the first round of the upcoming draft. The Rams' history has been to trade away top picks or trade back It wouldn't surprise me if they hold on to that philosophy here, unless the next Aaron Donald is actually available with the 19th overall pick. And let's be real, that's kind of unlikely. The team also has 15 unrestricted free agents to consider. The LA Times suggested that the Rams are going to let all of them hit the free market first, just to see what the market is. That would include 2 starting offensive linemen in Coleman Shelton and Kevin Dotson. And the latter was considered by Pro Football Focus to be the game's best interior lineman. The Times also speculates that the team would want another edge rusher, linemen on both sides of the ball, and cornerbacks. The Chargers completed their interview with Michigan coach Jim Harbaugh on Monday. By the way, this makes him the 8th candidate interviewed for the opportunity to replace Brandon Staley. The Bolts have actually asked to interview 5 other coaches, according to Yahoo Sports. This includes both offensive and defensive coordinators for the Detroit Lions, who are still a little preoccupied with, being in the playoffs. So what do we know about the interview with Jim Harbaugh? We have been hearing for months about this amazing man crush, about how the Chargers were just like leaving a trail of rose petals for Jim Harbaugh to follow from Ann Arbor all the way to LA. So how did that little tete-a-tete go? We don't know. Nothing. Stop me if you have seen this roadblock before. Oh, there were all these rumors that the Lakers are going to be trading for DeJounte Murray of Atlanta. Oh, how much they want him for the minimal upgrade that he would provide for the team. But the Hawks, in return, want Austin Reeves. Surprise, the Lakers say hell no. And I want to preface this because of the upcoming NBA trade season. That is what makes so many of these NBA trade rumors so damn ridiculous, especially when it comes to the Lakers. You do not have as many assets to swap in the NBA as you do in every other sport. The NHL, the major leagues, they have minor leagues, for example, where you could trade X number of minor leaguers for a quality major leaguer. Nobody in the NBA would even remotely consider trading 3 G League players for a starting NBA player. That would never happen. Stop it. Stop it. Also there, for example, are more draft picks, a bigger roster in the NFL, and that leads to bigger trades possibilities in the NFL. You only have 15 players on an NBA roster. That is a big difference compared to every other sport out there. So your eyes should reflexively roll with every one of these, quote, hot Laker rumors that you're going to be hearing over the next few weeks. Remember, we had listed dozens of Laker trade rumors last year just to make fun of the scribes who said the Lakers were going to do whatever it took to land those guys. And the Lakers did make trades, but they did not go get a single player listed on our rumor list that we had compiled to show you how stupid Laker trade rumors actually are. The Dodgers have agreed to a deal with shortstop Emil Morales, who is the 14th ranked international prospect, according to MLB.com. He's seen as a power bat prospect. The Dodgers also avoided arbitration with 10 players. The headliners of that group of 10, catcher Will Smith, starting pitcher Walker Buehler, closer Evan Phillips, and potential starting shortstop Gavin Lux. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. Talk to me about Caleb Williams and what you think he can actually do in the NFL. Who do you think the Rams are going to replace on the defensive line coaching staff? Or did USC get the ideal guy for the defensive line coaching staff? Why don't you tell me how you think the interview with Harbaugh, the Chargers, went, even though we have no idea? And if you enjoyed the content, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We're talking LA sports every single day here. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Corta El Queso production. Take care.